I really should have led that with what I just said before I hit the record button. Moving sucks. The computer is weird. I figured out where to put a mic, so I should pick up all the time. Also, slowly I'm learning how to YouTube, but I can't. Y'all can't see it, but the mic is so close to my face that it is almost impossible to clap. Jubilost is dead. I can't. Shit, it's time for Kingmaker.
No.
We'll do it over here. Side clap. I don't know. I'm really tired, but
Jubilost isn't dead.
He's just lost his hands. He can no longer clap. Now he's got to lean back, I guess. I don't know. We'll figure this shit out. But it's time for more of our bi-weekly patron Kingmaker game, which we've apparently been doing for like 8 months. Weird. Didn't realize that happened. But thank you, the 5 of you, for being amazing and your support on... Oh, God, gross. Tossing a coin to your Witcher and things. I'm looking at my webcam and I realize how horribly backlit I am in this room also. We'll worry about that later. In the meantime, we're late as hell. Does anyone want to volunteer for the in-character reflection for the hero point, or am I yeeting dice?
I'd like to volunteer to go last because my reflection is going to lead into an in-game.
You know what? I'll go first this time because I think everybody else has something prepared and I don't. So I'll set the bar real low so that I'm not.
Nice.
Oh, please.
I'll go second.
So we can get 30 minutes of class features and it'll be super dope. All right.
Cool.
You know what? I'll sacrifice my reflection time for Kato's class features.
Nah.
Balance, as all things should be. All right, take it. Not so human occultist.
Right. Mostly human occultist. There it is. That's the whole thing.
Boom.
Last session was pretty uneventful for me because we sold things and then did a bunch of solo RP and I didn't actually have anything. So, Ionia's probably been doing some training and praying to her ancestors in this downtime while everybody else has been doing their things. And it's been pretty uneventful. Maybe doing some dog training. Minoru's learned how to weave between her legs, but he's a little too big, so she lifts off the ground when he does it.
Good enough. We'll take it and take that hero point. And I guess we're going to Kato next.
All right, Kato Sicarius, first of his name, son of Saul Sicarius.
There it is. And now I wonder if Sven made it to the Discord yet. Sven, where are you? Are you yelling at me?
Sven's not here.
Oh, coward. Oh well.
Otherwise, I would have opened with, "It is I, Kato Sicarius, and I, Kato Sicarius, have decided that I, Kato Sicarius, shall do my Kato Sicarius's reflection." All right, cool. And then he would have literally like squeed and been like,
classic Sven.
His life would have been fulfilled. So, Kato is a lot of classes, so we'll start from the top. He is a level 4 swashbuckler of the Rosalind Bravo archetype. He is a level 2 monk of the Master of Many Styles archetype. He is a level 1 fighter of the Weapon Master archetype, with a chosen Weapon Master proficiency of the Eldori Dueling Sword. And he is a level 1 prestige class Eldori Sword Lord, making for 8 total levels split across 4 classes. Woo! Yeet! All right. So, I also don't have a pre-prepared reflection, so I'm kind of right there with Ionia. But I will say that the rushing feeling of victory that the party had just recently achieved has been quickly turned sour by the revelation that Chief Sootscale has presented upon the group. In fact, Kato thought the timing was a little unfortunate since he was giving a wonderful post-victory speech to all the people of Rooston when Artoris and Chief Sootscale had to show up and drop their bad news on him and ruin his mood. So thanks for that, guys. Very inconsiderate. With that said, that is definitely an immediate concern. However, even more pressing than that is Kato's wondering who's going to mine our gold and silver now. So we need to fix this, get our unpaid labor back.
Even more pressing than that, he says.
Even more pressing. Where's my money?
All jokes aside, Chief Sootscale is basically family at this point. So finding his people is definitely going to be top of mind for Kato. as well as now that the immediate threat, the looming threat of the trolls and the assassins has been, at least for the time being, avoided. And based on all that, we can start setting our sights to some of the goals that we've had to kind of put off. So he's been looking out over to the west where that abandoned keep is, very interesting, as well as the discussions about Restov and that happened at the fateful graveyard meeting. So lots to do, lots to be excited for. Cato is anxious and ready to go.
Good. Take that hero point. And if Senny is going last, it falls to Artoris or Kalira.
Do you have anything prepared, Tibor?
Yep.
You do?
Yep.
Is it longer or shorter?
Medium?
All right, I'll go next.
Is it long enough for Esper to quickly jot
Incoming
something
40
down?
minutes of
No.
reflections.
Mine's on the shorter end,
Alright, cool.
I think. Darkness was over the land of Concordia now, daylight at last giving way to the stillness of night. The immediate danger had passed, and for now, at least, the kingdom would survive. The ever-burning fires of the Temple of Abadar continued on, flickering and dancing in the shadows. For once, however, there was no high priest keeping watch over the central hall at this hour. Instead, the Arbiter hovered about, tasked with guarding the temple, but never quite content staying in one place for too long. Behind him, through the doors of the antechamber, a personal shrine to Abadar lay still, in perfect balance. Nearby, a particularly ornate taxmaster's headdress lay placed among some other articles of clothing for the clergy, waiting for a new taxmaster in need of one. A simple wooden door off the antechamber led to a room that had not seen much use in the past few months, sleeping quarters. The high priest's eyes were closed, but his mind was active. Perhaps he had forgotten how to sleep properly, after all? No, that wasn't it. Something was bothering him. It was no secret to Jod, or perhaps even to Jod, or perhaps even to the citizens of Concordia, that at times the relationship between Artoris and Jod was strained. Abadar's ideals of grand cities and civilization were naturally often at odds with Erastil's simpler vision of human existence. But in the end, both deities stood against chaos in their own way. Both seek peaceful and ordered ways of life. Sometimes it's far too easy to focus on the things that make us different than to cherish the things that we share in common. Artoris shuddered. He had honestly believed that Jod would be of use in that fight, and Jod had, without hesitation, put his life on the line for Concordia when asked to. And Artoris had once again been unable to properly defend those that needed defending. Artoris' eyes opened, but this would be the last time. While he had never imagined being trained by a kobold, Sutscale was a surprisingly able teacher and possessed an astonishing breadth of knowledge on the anatomy and weak points of creatures. It was, at times, disturbing, the level of simple joy he seemed to take in relaying the descriptions he had of landing his blows on various forms of life, but it was undeniably useful. Closing his eyes again, Artoris thought back to the battle against the Stag Lord and how the chief had almost been lost, first in combat and then to the disease after. Abadar was surely watching over them both on that day. Concentrating on that feeling, Artoris at last found the peace. I am playing Artoris, who is, for the first time, a sanctified Slayer Inquisitor of the travel domain. And he's a human from Cheliax-ish. That's me.
And he's finally sleeping.
And he's retrained out of the Tactics Inquisition, which means no one's getting haste anymore and no one gets his wisdom to initiative. Damn.
That's true.
I was gonna be like, this is a really
Trained
exciting
out of it
level
just
for
in
the
time.
party. Just in time to
Nora
fuck
and I are
everyone.
still getting haste.
I was really looking forward to your wisdom to initiative team.
Yeah, no shit. You guys would have
really
been.
looking forward to it.
Just
Don't worry, I still get it.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry, he's still going in the surprise round. But good. Hero points all around. Clara.
All right. So yeah, this is I guess takes place after day after Jugulas had sent his I don't know, what do you call it, retinue of
Makes sense.
harem
His harem, apparently.
to report to Kalira at Stagray Fort. Kalira's intent, since everyone was dogpiling her last week about being lazy and not doing her job, she's decided to take a more hands-on role in the training of the troops. And in light of the previous discussions, I should put a trigger warning. Okay, so the rain fell in sheets on the courtyard of Fort Staggrave. Kalira stood with a large hammer gripped tightly in her hand. unbothered by the tendrils of gray hair clinging to the side of her hand and face, or sides of her head and face. Through them, her penetrating blue eyes remained fixed on the group of 10 shivering female gnomes standing at attention before her. Pathetic. Look at you all trembling like small cowed beasts. Is that what you are? Prey for the next predator that happens upon you? She accented her point with an intentionally exaggerated version of her own usually wolfish grin. She didn't wait. Only the sound of pounding rain between her and the recruits until one of them finds the nerve to open their mouth to speak. However, before she could even make a sound, the gnome is sent stumbling back by a mound of thick mud kicked into her face. I didn't give you permission to speak. No. You are less than vermin, I think. Splat. She kicks mud into the face of another. You don't deserve names. Splat. A third, mortified gnome's face is covered in mud. The big-mouthed gnome who drug you out to this wilderness didn't even think twice about giving you over to me. Splat. Kalira continues to kick mud up as she proceeds down the line. Hardly a concern. Splat. Perhaps if you had some value, some worth, but look at you all. Splat. Scared weaklings without a lick of bite in you, all because you lack one thing. Strength. Kalira pauses, seeing the seventh gnome glaring up at her defiantly. Frowning, she abruptly turns away and treads back to the patch of wet earth and over to the leftover remains of the fortress renovations. Sifting through the stone, she finds one about 3 times as wide and just as tall as any of her recruits. With little effort, she raises the heavy stone above her head and glares back at them. Do you see this? This is strength. She casually strides back with the stone atop her fully extended arm and then drops it in front of the defiant gnome with a splat. She then swings the hammer over and over, smashing the giant stone into small but still quite large chunks, flinging mud carelessly in the air with every strike. The defiant one was completely covered from head to toe in thick blanket of mud. With her fierceness successfully deflated, Kalira hefts over one of the stones with a laugh. Yes, mud. That's what you are. Nameless mounds of mud. So tell me, does mud ever wish to be greater than what it is? Does it strive to stand before those who tread upon it? Does it desire strength? Splat. Well, does mud not have the ability to speak? The gnomes shout out, Yes, Warden. I can barely hear you over the rain, mud. Splat. They cry out with a burst that rivaled the thunder. Yes, Warden. Kalira then stands before the 10th and last of the Jubilee's former retinue, chest heaving, brow furrowed, and teeth bared in a rigorous stare as she braced herself for the inevitable bloodbath. Instead, Kalira stood down and spoke in a low voice but projected so that the others could hear. Oh, I bet you think you are you are better than the rest of these hunks of sodden dirt. Oh, I bet you were Jubilee's favorites, no? Ha! Now look at you, cast out, handed over to a sadistic tyrant without a single concern for your wishes. How does that make you feel? Abandoned? Betrayed? Do you want to hurt me? Yes, the gnome suddenly growls angrily, tears mixed in with the torrential rain. Oh, is that anger I hear? Does mud get you angry? Kalira caresses the back of the gnome's head and then coos. But what good is it doing you here and now? She then slams the stone into the gnome's chest, forcing it back, knocking the wind from her. What, are you going to crumble? Maybe you're on this special after all. Kalira watches as the gnome clenches her jaws, using the ire she stoked within her to keep her body erect, chuckling. Not bad. She then shoves the gnome face first into the mud. But only just. Kalira then strides back to the pile of stones with a broad grin. It's a sickening feeling, isn't it? This helplessness, this lack of control. Like being at the bottom of a deep pit with no way to climb out. None save your own strength. And so that is where we'll start. I will show you how to turn impotent rage you feel to a tool, to contain it, to hone it, and then unleash it as a weapon. And you will learn it all on your own, clawing and dragging yourself out of the mud without a single thing given or offered. Then, when you will speak, and until then, you will speak when you're told, eat and sleep when you and where you're told. Though you are without a doubt mud, know that you are my mud. You belong to me, and so I will keep you and guide you down this path. Obey me, and you may even earn a name. And then, when you can stand shoulder to shoulder with me, figuratively, if you're still sore about it, I'll let you beat Claptrap to a bloody pulp. Are we agreed? The gnomes hesitate only for a second before roaring, "Yes, Warden! Now, Mud, each of you grab a stone and carry it back and forth across the field until my arms get tired. Am I understood? Yes, Warden!" The recruits dart off as a flash of lightning casts a ghostly shadow over the half-elf's pale face. The sound of Kalira's cackling rose over the din of the heavy shower and splattering mud. That's it.
All right, fair enough. Beautiful. A plus, 10 out of 10 for new pottery skills, apparently. And the hero point is yours. And Senia, take us home.
Clay.
Yeah, we turn clay into barbarians. We're making an army of clay golems.
Yeah. So, this is how the
rebellion begins.
The attempted coup happens, huh?
Hey, gotta start from somewhere, dude.
Assaulted by an army of gnomes.
Gnome barbarians.
Hey, they got buffs to con. They're not bad. You would be surprised. But
all right. So this takes place right after I bury Jod. I think our last session we didn't really. We did a little bit of RP on it, but I kind of wanted to expand on it, so here I go. Senya kneels at the foot of a freshly assembled cairn, the final resting place of Jod Kafkin. It's a warm sunny day, and the clearing where the ancient temple of the Elk Crests feels serene. The wind gently whispers in the treetops of the woods that surround the hollow grounds. It's peaceful here, but Senya feels anything but. The bitter taste of her failure is still stuck in her throat, like a hard-to-swallow lump of stale bread. She failed to protect the priest against the assassin. Foolish. Disarming that woman was foolish. The sight of Jod prone in the mud, with the assassin towering over him, is still fresh in her mind's eye. She remembers how, in the act of desperation, she swings Nettle's gift and hooks the longsword in its flanges, and with a flick of her wrist, the weapon goes flying into the muck. She feels a moment of triumph, but it's fleeting. She sees the assassin, her eyes wild with rage, grab Jod's head in her hands, shouting a final incantation in desperation. She watches blood burst from his body as the woman is finally felled, and she knows in that moment that there's no saving him. He is truly gone. She balls her hand into a fist at the memory. I should have gone for the kill. I'm sorry, I failed you. She turns to the monolithic stone slab that dominates the clearing, her eyes setting on the carving of an elk, a tribute to her god, and offers up a prayer. Forgive me. I have failed to protect your faithful. Take his body to nourish the earth and to create new life in the season of renewal. Take his soul into the summerlands and let him tend to your flock. She hears a rustling sound in the tree line, a twig snapping under the weight of something approaching. Instinctively, her hand grabs her rancer, and she turns her head at the sound and sees a majestic stag enter the clearing. It stops, watching her with its keen dark eyes for a moment. Senya recognizes that this is one of Old Deadeye's messengers and moves her hands away from her weapon to show the animal that she's not a threat. She watches as the elk approaches Grom, grazing on the grasses nearby, and leans its head forward to touch Grom's forehead with its horns. She watches in amazement as a pair of magnificent antlers sprout from Grom's head, and Grom himself seems to grow a bit more sturdy than before. He raises his head and shakes it a bit and nickers in satisfaction, pawing the earth beneath him with his hoof, and goes back to grazing on the grass. The elk takes one final look at her and disappears into the forest surrounding. Senya understands the miracle that she had just witnessed is a boon that Erastil granted her. She approaches Grom and strokes his head in admiration. The horns feel sturdy and a bit mossy. The horse nuzzles her hand, and instinctively she knows he's looking for something tasty. She reaches into one of her packs and offers him a sugar cube, which he swallows enthusiastically. He whinnies and stops the ground in place, nudging her with his new horns to mount him. With a fluid motion, she saddles him, and he rears up and kicks his hooves in the air before taking off at a gallop. Surprised, she holds her body close, his mane whipping into her face as he races through the forest, weaving around the trees. She feels the strength of his muscles working beneath her, his hooves beating a thundering rhythm on the ground. Gingerly, she loosens her grip and pulls back a bit, hoping to turn him around, and she is surprised at how easily he responds to her motions. He slows down, and she guides his bridle into a turn, and then she spurs him on, and he takes off again back towards the clearing. She paces this course several times. Each time, the turns more sharp and Grom more responsive to her commands. She feels a stronger bond forming with the animal, and eventually she fully trusts him to take her through the terrain without much guidance from her. It's time we head back home, boy, she muses, patting his side as he nods his head several times and turns instinctively towards Rooston. She has a feeling he understands her completely, and a rueful smile spreads across her face. She digs into her pack for another sugar cube and offers it to Grom, and he laps it up gladly. When they reach the town surrounding the keep, she sees the town folk stare at Grom, some pointing fingers and whispering gingerly to their companions. No doubt some of them recognizing Erastel's blessing that has been bestowed on her. She sits up more straight, holding her head higher, and she feels Grom switch to a trot, his head held back and tail up high. Show off, she teases, and he neighs in response. We should visit the smithy and get you outfitted with a new barding. And as if Grom could understand every word she says, he takes his way towards the news. I am Senya the Black Stag. I play a Kelid Barbarian of the Gemini Invoker type, and with the GM's blessing and a little bit of retooling, I am now a level 4 Gemini Invoker and a level 4 Phalanx Soldier with a Totem Guide companion.
And it is good. And take that hero point, and we will turn the floor over to y'all. I almost want to be like, we should immediately have a kingdom turn, because
I agree.
There's a lot of things that are about to happen in Rooston. I have had a lot of time in a car to listen to music and brew, and it is good. Does anyone have anything they want or need to do just right now that can't wait, or do we hit the kingdom turn?
So my reflection was going to lead into a visit to the smith to do a little bit of RP with the smith about a couple of things.
Okay, then that is what we will do. Senna, as you make your way to the smith, you notice that Rooston has, there are a lot of people in town you don't recognize. They see you, you see them. They seem to be of all walks of life, people of all shape and size from Restov. A couple of people with broader shoulders, like people come from the realm of the Mammoth Lords or south from other parts of the River Kingdoms. The town is not necessarily crowded, but the streets are far from as I won't say empty, but as empty as they used to be. You come in, the smith. I've got to make a blacksmith. Oh Lord. I'm gonna roll some dice. Of all things, actually, nah, I don't like that. We'll just say it's a human man, upper middle-aged. Hammer to anvil. He looks up and says, my lady, what can I do for you?
Hello, good man. I was hoping you could assist me with a couple of things that I need for myself and my horse. And Grom kind of trails behind her, like sticking his head inside.
Oh my, oh Lord! He begins counting the points of Grom's antlers. That's far from natural. I mean, yes. What can I do for you? Whatever you need.
Don't be afraid of Grom. He won't bite.
I'm not worried about the bite, milady.
Or he and I kind of push his head back a little bit. I'm like, all right, you stay out there. And so I'd like to get some new barding outfitted for Grom. He's gotten to be a little too big for his saddle, so it fits poorly on him. And the other thing I was hoping that you could do for me, good man, I have here this plate armor, but it's decorated in some garish eyeballs, which are kind of unseemly, and I was hoping you had the skill to redecorate it into something that fits me better.
Of course. What did you have in mind?
Senya pulls out a piece of paper and she kind of shows a crude drawing to the smith.
And into the RP channel we go.
An image, if you will. Neat. Boop, boop. Okay, that should work there. Okay, into the RP channel. Opens the RP channel. There's nothing in the RP channel.
Yeah, there's nothing in there.
Here it comes.
Oh, just Erasmus' holy symbol. Got it.
Yes.
Dope. Can do.
But a really rough sketch of it.
But a really rough sketch of it. And would you be able, on my shield, I'd like another symbol painted, if you would.
Oh, yes, of course. Any particular color?
Green and black, and she kind of takes out another piece of paper, something like that.
Oh, of course, yes. Is this any particular symmetry I should be aware of?
It is the symbol of my dead tribe, as you can see. I am the last black. Well, not really last, but one of the last blacks that.
I see. Heard a lot of talk about that lately. Had a couple of folks brought the biggest sword I ever seen into my shop. They said they wanted to set up, I believe, I don't remember the animal they're herding, but some form of animal. Said they felt safe living here because the last black stag was watching over the region.
That might be perhaps Divicos. We had a disagreement, and I hope that perhaps in time he will come around.
I see. Well, indeed, yes, I can take care of all this. Oh, and he gets Kato his damn chain coat, I guess. Reaches back, grabs the mithril chain coat, I believe it was. Right, Del?
Yes.
And brings it over,
chain coat +2.
Puts it on ye olde table. Please, take this to our lord as soon as you are able.
Yes, I do recall Milord ordering some new armor. I can definitely deliver it to.
He nods. Should probably have this done by the end of the day or so. He kind of bops one of the googly eyes with his hammer, and it spins a little uncannily. End of the day, perhaps the beginning of next. He just kind of scratches his head. Where does one get armor such as this? This is, I can't tell if it's looking at me or looking around me, or if I move slightly to the right of the armor. It feels like it's following me everywhere I go. Ugh.
I took it off a slate.
I see. He nods. Well, yes, of course. Anything else?
No, I think we're good. I will certainly stop by sometime later to pick it up and Hey, what is...
Oh, please, something this simple. No charge. No charge for this one. If anything, I'm more than happy to. He takes his hammer and does a couple like test swing, and then brings the hammer down on one of the eyes to knock it off. And you almost expect as if you were to Gallagher a jelly jar, a similar effect. But the eye just kind of like shatters like glass. He looks real perplexed. I don't hate it though. Good, fair enough. Whatever gets this out of existence.
Appreciate it, good man. And she like walks out.
He nods.
I would also like to see the blacksmith as well.
And then immediately after walks in Clara. Another eyeball goes rolling down. Just, Warden! What may I do for you?
Yeah, I think you're going to be very busy. I have quite a few things I need taken care of. First, as she reaches behind her back, she has like a sword, like wrapped up, and she kind of unfolds the wrapping. This is a sword that's very old, but it's got a special place in my heart. Do you understand? I don't want it sharpened or anything like that. I was actually thinking of could you mount it in like a pile of iron rocks?
Yes, I suppose I could put the sword in the stone. Why? Not a question. The warden. He puts his hands up, walks back a little bit. Idle curiosity.
Mm-hmm. Why? Oh well, it kind of reminds me of someone I knew when I was younger. And I thought it would be a nice bit of inspiration for the troops. You see, I need you to put a like an inscription on the blade, on the flat of the blade, if you don't mind. But maybe I just put it maybe like a plaque on the stone part. A few skulls, maybe. Yeah, I trust your judgment.
Of course. Whatever you need.
Oh, good. So basically, I just wanted to say simply, power is only a means to an end. It is not an end in and of itself.
He writes down what you say hastily as you say it. Understood. Yes, I can do that.
Good. And I'm also going to need 10 sets of small plate I guess half plate armor. Yes. In like a scale mail perhaps. Yes, like scale mail for small people. I need 10 of those.
Of course.
He
begins drawing up plans for him.
Yeah, and I also need 10 great swords, but not for small people, for normal people.
I see. That seems, but again, 1,000 pardons, Warden.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Why do you need small armor but big swords?
Well, the small armor's more for looks, and the big swords is for practice.
Of course, yes. At once. The googly eyes googly in the background, and he whaps one of them and it breaks again. Just saw the marshal. The marshal would like me to make some sigildry on her equipment.
Oh, yes.
Immediately after.
Might want to fix that cut right there. I did that myself. That was yeah.
I see. I suppose the rumors may be true then, that you are in fact the avatar of the horsemen of war.
The avatar of what, of who?
He holds his hands up, backs off again. Forget I said anything. Just something I heard not too terribly long ago. There's been people come in, rumors that the warden is more than she seems.
Oh, darling. Oh, I am very much that. And then she just walks away.
You can hear him sigh as soon as, like, you get over the threshold. There's just this big, like, I'm not gonna die today. Followed by the clang of hammer. Anybody else got anything, or are we going down to Kingdom Turn?
Very quick scene, if you don't mind.
Nope,
If you don't mind reprising the role of Arbiter real quick.
Once more with feeling.
I have, I guess just keep it short and sweet.
Sure.
Arbiter.
Yes, Taxmaster.
I think I have a question for Abadar, if you don't.
Splendid. Yes. Yes, indeed. Oh, wait, that's not... I'm turning Jubilost. Can you tell I just started moving yesterday? I'm so tired. Thank you, Coffee. You are my best friend. Of course, Taxmaster. What would you like to ask? And he, like, almost as if to be like some strange dystopian sci-fi camera, he flies like about 7-8 inches in front of your head and begins darting around like in various like quick jerky motions as if to like be like watching and filming your every move kind of thing.
Is there room for Erastil in Concordia?
Is there room for Erastil in Concordia? Arbiter, Pathfinder, I want to make sure I use the right thing. Bam! Do I have Commune, which means I have... Oh, excuse me. Bam! You connect. So you ask the question, and he continues bop, 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 bop around. Is there anything else? I can answer 5 more this week.
No, just that for now, Arbiter. Thank you.
I see. He continues doing this for about 10 minutes. Stops like right in front of you. Nods once. Yes.
I nod in reply, and say,
Wow. No. I mean, I guess you asked a yes or no question. You got a yes or no answer.
That is literally the spell he casts.
That's how
He
Commune
can
works.
Give you a yes or a
Oh.
no. But, alrighty. Anybody got anything else?
I have a quick one.
Alright, we're just gonna hit all 5 of you
And this-
before the Kingdom Turn.
This,
Hell yeah.
This will lead into the Kingdom Turn. So that I wanted to wait till everyone else was done. So
Roger,
anyone
roger.
else. So at the tail end of the meeting from last session, where Sootscale showed up and he gave us the bad news, and we were all like, "Oh my goodness!" We all met inside, and he told us what happened. I said, so comfort Sootscale. Tell him, we'll do everything we can to try to, help him figure out what happened here. And he has friends like here that will, work tirelessly to try to resolve this. And in the meantime, I say, he should rest and take, and relax a little bit. So essentially, I tell Chief Sootscale that, we'll have a room prepared for him within, Fort Staggrave, and he is welcome to stay and partake in food, drink, whatever, to, try to get his mind off things. And if he needs anything at all, don't hesitate to call upon us. And with a, pat on his shoulder, we have him kind of sent off to, to his quarters for the night, because I assume it was getting kind of late and we didn't want to send him back to a mine all by himself.
Indeed.
Figured he might want to stay among friends at least for a little bit. So as that happens and that wraps up, and everyone starts to kind of head out to do their own thing, I gesture to Ionia if I could have a quick word.
And we're gonna get all 5 of them. Hell yeah. Yahtzee.
Yep. Yahtzee. Ionia.
You just throw that at me?
I did. I just threw you into RP.
I was distracted. I was trying to find a list. What happened?
Oh. Wow.
Everyone's having a turn RPing, so we assumed you'd have something.
No, I since you didn't have anything, I'm pulling you into my RP.
Oh, cool. What's happening?
So after we finish talking with Sootscale about the problems of his people disappearing, and we, and the meeting sort of disperses, as everyone's leaving, I ask Ionia if she could hang back for a moment to have a chat.
Well, I'm good at hanging back and chatting. What's up?
Ionia, how are you doing? How are things?
Well, the past year has been a bit crazy. I miss my dad. My dog's real cool. How
All
are
right,
things with you?
Cool story. About the dad thing, actually. I'm doing well. However, I just wanted to follow up on a discussion we had earlier, sort of make sure that, we didn't lose sight of something. So before all the craziness of the last few weeks happened with, Artoris almost getting shanked in his own temple, and then,
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
that was man, that must have such a fearsome little girl, almost took out our high priest. Anyway.
She was so small.
I know, so tiny. Anyway, we kind of lost track of something that we were originally discussing, and it is definitely of the utmost importance to myself and to you, I imagine. I think the time has come for us to begin, getting that message out to your father, and getting my message into the city of Rostov to the Lord Mayor. Kind of put that on the back burner. I wanted to ask you, as our spy master, I know you've been fine-tuning your skills when it comes to undercover operations. Do you feel that you have what it takes to undertake this dangerous yet vitally important task?
You would just risk my life like that.
I am asking you if you're willing to risk your own life.
So what exactly?
Yes.
We didn't actually come up with the plan. So what exactly are we talking here?
So, I know you wanted to get a message out to your father to let him know that you're doing well, that you're okay, that you're, because you haven't been able to speak with him. I want similarly to get a message to my father to let him know that I am okay, as well as a message to the mayor of Rostov, the Lord Mayor, in order to arrange a meeting. Also, I'm going to tell you something in total confidence, as you are the spy master, and since this operation, if it was to happen, would be putting your immediate, self at risk potentially. There is a situation within the city of Rostov. This isn't just for my benefit or yours, but there's an immediate situation in Rostov for one of our other companions, Kalira, that that would also need to be addressed.
Tell me more.
Tell me more. I don't want to misrepresent the situation, so perhaps we should probably bring Kalira into the conversation when the time comes. But with that said, I wanted to, before getting into the nitty-gritty details of what needs to be done, do you think that you have the skills to be able to safely undertake an operation undercover in secret?
So what you're wanting to do is send me away for a matter of probably weeks or maybe even months into Brevoy in disguise to personally hand deliver.
I wouldn't say we have a contact within the city who could get all the messages to where they need to go. But we need someone
just need to slip in and get to this contact who will then take care of everything else.
We need someone to infiltrate Rostov. Yes.
Well, I feel much better about like an in and out than a prolonged stay.
Sure, yeah, no, you won't be like working undercover or anything. It's going to be
I think I'm good for a matter of hours.
Okay. It's a get in. It's a get in, undetected. Meet the contact, deliver the goods, and get yourself out to safety.
Yeah, I think I can do that.
I don't want to put you, if you think that this is too risky, I don't want to put you at that type of risk.
No,
It's really
it's
up
fun.
to your. That's why it's more like, this isn't about us working out the details of the operation. This is, would you feel comfortable and capable of doing such an operation before we get into the details of
Sure,
what
I was
that would
mostly
actually entail.
trying to get an idea of kind of the big picture, if this is like a prolonged thing or a quick thing. But I'm a bit roguish these days. This could, yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, cool. All right, well, good to know.
Oh, I'll need to encrypt any messages we're sending. So, get me whatever message you would like sent and whatever message Lyra would like sent.
How does that work exactly? The encryption
Well, you
and the
see, while
decryption.
you've all been gallivanting around the town shopping and doing Lord knows what, I've been studying codes and how to write them, and I'll start pulling out like scrolls and shit of, it probably just looks like random like kind of letters and math and crap like that, and I'll just kind of show you like, yeah, so if you know, like move this letter over here and then you count this and then there's these like anagrams and, you know.
And the kid whose eyes glaze over.
It's all very exciting.
Very exciting. And would the recipient know how to decode such a message?
Well, that's the trouble, isn't it?
Because I imagine this would be great in case that message didn't make it to its intended recipient and they wouldn't be able to read it. But
yeah, I haven't quite figured that part out yet.
Oh, okay. Definitely something we should.
It's pretty cool though, right?
Yeah, this is cool. It's cool. Okay, well, I just wanted to make sure that you were on board, before sending you into the jaws of the possible death.
Let's talk about more. Talk more about how this could kill me.
Well, I mean, we are exiled under penalty of death, so
nothing amps me up for an adventure more, like possible death.
Yeah, I mean, you get no big deal. You get caught, they'll just hang you.
In fact, let's bring Kalira into this conversation so that I can really feel that fear of death.
Fear of death, like palpable fear. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Cool. With that said, I think we have a meeting I think this afternoon we have a council meeting where we're going to discuss future build plans for the kingdom and things of that nature.
Oh, yeah.
Insert kingdom.
Insert kingdom
sort of
turn.
Turn of the kingdom, if you will.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, bunch of things happen at the start of the kingdom turn.
Oh,
First and easiest foremost, Kato is astute and correct in the mines are not being mined currently because the folks have vanished. So y'all will not be getting any income from them right now. But trade from the Iruxi clans, it makes the same amount in a kingdom turn as your mines did. So it's a wash.
Question about that.
Yes.
When Chief Sitskill first got here, before he went back with Artoris and discovered that his people were gone, he had come here to deliver this month's shipment.
Which you have, yes.
Right. So we would get it this month,
Sure.
but then going forward we want it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew you were gonna.
Yeah,
I was gonna jump a follow on that one. I knew you.
It's fine. We'll take it. Anyway.
I know the RP. I follow the RP.
Second most important thing that happens is at the first, I won't call it dilemma, the first major thing that happens at the top of the kingdom turn is rumors about the party have spread. Fun fact, in 3.5, I don't remember which book, but by the time you were level 8, every single solitary last member of the party is identifiable now by knowledge checks as far away as like Absalom, as far as like in the Stolen Lands and in Brevoy go. It's a much more like, you guys are common knowledge. Rumors fly about all of you. Everything from like Kato slayed a dragon in single combat to Kato is a dragon and that's why they kicked him out of Restov and that's why his friends are all lizards and kobolds. bits and pieces about how the shrine to Abadar is guarded by some new kind of clockwork crossbowman inevitable thing that never sleeps and is always like constantly vigilant.
Oh, that's just Arcturus.
That's just Arcturus, yeah. Speaking of Arcturus, the what folks are calling, as I bop back over to y'all's world map, it has a lot of names throughout the world. Like, some people call it the Roostin Road, some people call it the Restov Road. By and large, it seems to be called the First Road, both because it is the first road of its caliber through the Stolen Lands, and it seems to have been handed down directly from the master of the first vault. It's a very, like, sacred path for those who worship Abadar to walk, and in addition, it also means that foot travel into Roostin is swelling. People have heard that you guys fought down a bunch of cultists and trolls and other scary monsters and things, and so they are like, they feel it is a safe place to live, to come live here, because there are people like you who, should something go bad, well, there are rumors that Cato's enforcer was able to cut an owlbear the size of a house in half in a single swing. There are indeed also rumors that the last Black Stag rides alongside the King of Concordia. Bits and pieces about how esoteric items come in and out of the city all the time, and someone at the king's court is able to charge them with psychic energy, and it's kind of also become a jumping off point. The road leads here, and then those who want to, for example, fish in the Tuskwater or take the various rivers farther south into Avestan or explore forgotten ruins, so on and so forth, like, this is the place. And then also people are starting to set up here. I suppose I will ask the king if he could roll a d6 plus 1 for me. He's going to roll a 6, and I'm going to regret having asked this. But Del, if you would.
It's coming.
No whammies.
No whammies. Okay. For the next 6 months, the population of Roostin will double.
Oh, wow.
People want to be here. This is a safe place
to live.
Exponentially,
like every month it doubles?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
In addition, there are 2 villages. One here called Abadar's Rest, and one at the crossing called Thornburg. They're founded, originally, it's just like, what would be about a day's travel on the road, set up an inn here, people can stop here and rest. Then they realize, like, you can make money doing this, or, well, this is a good place to set up, people will be here, let me put a blacksmith up here, let me put a farm here, so on and so forth. Both of those villages immediately swear fealty to Concordia. You guys also hear that up in yon trading post, the government in Restov has garrisoned it again. They haven't stopped travel hither and thither, but they are, like, they seem to be keeping an eye on you, as truly, like, some mornings y'all go out and it's so cramped, crowded, or otherwise, like, full of people who have come to see the Reclaimers and live in a place where they are under the protection of the Reclaimers, that, like, the town is growing really fast.
We don't have enough houses for everybody.
We better get building.
You know, build, and we need places for entertainment. Like, we don't even have we didn't build the tavern yet, did we?
That was like the first thing we built.
Oleg looks out of the boar's head, and his dementia continues as I make another personality for him. What'd you say, Sonny?
Poor Oleg.
Poor Oleg.
He used to be such a beacon of, inspiration for the party. Now he's the, Grandpa Simpson that
God.
Speak for yourself.
I suppose also rumors of the best porridge in all of Galarian being served here are also canon.
Well, turns out it was 60 years of eating that porridge that did him in, because it turns out there's like narcotics in it.
When you eat that many moon radishes, it really is just not good.
It catches up to you.
It's like just dropping acid every day for 60 years. Oleg comes out with his crossbow. Artaurus, I can teach you how to use a crossbow. Boom, shoots a swan out of the air. It's real sad. I digress. The Kingdom turn is on. There are other, like, role-playable events for basically the whole squad, all 5. Actually, no, there's one more thing I forgot to say. I should say it's relevant for Cato. People are coming from Restov, not necessarily nobles, but like folks go live in Restov to learn how to fight with swords all time. They're coming here to like live in Cato's shadow. Rumor has traveled back to Restov that Cato has been able to perfect a new style of fighting. There's a lot of like bits and pieces of what to call it on the street. Some people call it Roostin style. Some people call it Cato style. The one that seems to have stuck the most has been, in fact, Fop style.
God damn it.
But like,
I need to nip that in the bud.
Between y'all walking around or Ionia Arcane eyeing, there are people like in the streets trying to fight the way Cato does. There's probably nothing gets out of hand, but as is all too common in Restov, like drunken disorderlies increase the more these people show up. There's also like the Uruxi, who seem to just kind of come and go as they please. They don't. It's like sometimes they will stay for a couple of days and sleep under a tree. Sometimes it'll just be like one is here, but he's here for 2 weeks. They're also trying to pick up on it as well. Some of them are like, in lieu of a dueling sword, they'll like bring their tail around front of them and try to parry with that, and it's not ineffective.
Cato's ego is grew 4 times this day.
You love to see it.
Hey, my liege, have you seen all these people like doing your thing better than you do it? It's kind of amazing. Like they do it, they don't dance around or none of that other stuff. They just kind of just go for it, you know?
They're running around leaving themselves exposed to attacks of opportunity intentionally.
But how can they do it so
Hilarious.
fast? How do they have so much action economy?
They have potential. I could definitely, but they are unrefined in their ways. It's only natural when one tries to imitate by sight and admiration alone. I think it is time that we erect an academy of our own, so we can take in these aspirants and truly hone their skills.
I saw one kid practicing with he had made a paper mache skeleton hanging from a tree, and he would swing it, and every time it came back, he'd hit it again. It was remarkably similar.
I saw a kid that made 24 paper mache skeletons and stopped flavor texting the kills of them.
I ran out of flavor text. I do. I was telling this to the party. I do admire your dedication to the rules when you have forced each one of them to run through the threat range, because they're dumb skeletons.
They are dumb skeletons. I definitely also, like, because I enjoy y'all so much, and like big combats will cause my brain to divide by 0, I oftentimes forget the rules in your favor. Like, there were a lot of spells cast in the presence of will-o-wisps that were not cast defensively and should have provoked like 20 times, but you hate to see it. You like to see that Ione is not electrified to death. That's good. I digress.
What?
Well, now I know what's on the top of Cato's desire of structures to build.
We can either, like, I always hate to use the word time skip because it feels dirty, But if you guys want to do 6 months of kingdom building right now, you certainly can. There's stuff will happen for all of you, to all of you. This whole time, Chief Sootscale is just running around trying to figure out when you're going to find his people, basically. He has a character sheet and also is available to make kingdom rolls.
Oh, right. Kingdom.
If you'd like him to be a member of the council for...
Sorry, who?
Chief Sootscale.
Oh, Sootscale. This wasn't... we didn't discuss this yet.
We also don't have to decide right this second either.
What
do we have open? Well, it might be, if we're gonna do it, it might be okay to do that before the kingdom.
I think we had discussed this a little bit, right? Like,
we did. So, since he is the one who we've had overseeing the mines, and I know that Ionia has given up the role of treasurer, do you think Sootscale being the treasurer would make sense?
Sure, works for me.
He's
okay.
Kobolds are kind of like dragons; they hoard treasure.
Yeah.
he would protect the riches to make sure that Yeah, I think that kind of I like that. What do you guys think?
I'm 100% against any kobold having any position of authority.
Oh.
But that's just my personal opinion.
Gnomes are fine, apparently, though.
All right, well, so that's your vote, and then the other 4 votes.
I just hate them so much.
I feel the exact same way about gnomes.
I do.
I got over it for Jubilost, and I did it for you.
I hate gnomes. All right, so what we have open is treasurer, royal executioner.
Oh yes, I'm so good at stabbing people in the kidneys. Please make me royal executioner.
He is actually pretty good at sneak attacks.
He would be good at it.
But I think RP-wise, I think treasurer would be the way to go.
Mm.
I mean,
I don't think we really have a need for a royal executioner at this point.
Oh, we do.
We might.
Everyone turns slowly towards Kalira.
Seems like the kind of thing one of us would probably do.
That's true. All right, so treasurer.
I mean, it still feels slightly offensive to be like, here, do this thing like dragons do because you're a kobold, but at the same time, he was in charge of the mines.
Well,
so.
he was like already hoarding shinies, right?
Yeah. Now he'll do it in an official capacity.
He'll do it in our keep rather than his cave.
Yeah.
Or wherever we.
I have a quick question. It's kind of a mechanical / game question. Is Candlemere Tower, is that like still cleared out? Like, would that be an event to go check? Is that something you can just confirm?
The last you heard, it was clear.
Okay.
It's not Skyrim, I'll say that. Like, don't ever expect there to be like I'll put a pin on the board and be like, cleared. But like, somebody might wander.
Because Amalia dealt with the portal.
Certainly, Cthulhu is not going to crawl out at your southern border. But like, there's still an island with a tower on it.
And the time element of the tower is still there, right? Because it was part of the enchantment for the interdimensional component.
So far as you know.
Here's my worry. I don't want to use the tower to get like any kind of, I want to say like advantage in terms of like, I'm going to use the tower when we do kingdom turns so that way I can do twice as much with my time. It's actually kind of like the opposite of that. I don't want, like, it sounds like a lot of time can go by in kingdom turns, like as we get more involved in the kingdom side of things. And I really don't want Artoris to hit the point where he ages to old. So
how far
if
off
I
are we
could
from
like
that?
spend, it's still a ways off because he's just middle-aged and we haven't been a year yet. So he's still got like a good amount of years, but it's just something in the back of my mind that I'm worried about because middle-aged is a nice, interesting mechanic, like ability trade-off. Old is just bad.
That's great for you. You are entirely just toss a coin to your wisdom, shoot everybody. You want to be venerable. 99 years old with a bajillion.
Well, doesn't
wisdom.
it? Like I thought middle-aged is when it's like -1, -1, -1, +1, +1, +1. But then once you're old, it's -2, -2, -2, still +1, +1, +1. Like it doesn't actually get better.
No, those do stack. So you'll be like, your strength will end up like -6 or some noise. A lot. But you're gonna need a Darkwood crossbow or you're encumbered under its weight.
I will be
It's
All right.
creepy.
Arbiter, I need you to hold my crossbow.
Okay.
Just install it like a turret on top of him, and you just like.
But how many years away are you from old? If
It's a while. It's
Yeah,
like
it's we'll be at the end of the game by then.
I'm also
Then I won't
curious,
worry
what is the present population of the present population of Rooston?
The last time we updated it, it was 40.
Okay, so then let's see what I've given you by rolling dice. So it'd go 40 to 80 to 160 to 300 and some. Math is hard. To the calculator! Oh, geez, Rick! So 80, 160, x2, 320, x2, 640, x2, 1280, x2. So at the end of 6 months, you'll be looking at just over 2,500 people.
Just over. Sorry, how much?
2,500. 2,000 or
2,500?
500.
From
And-
40.
Yeah, it's going to grow really, really, really fast.
Holy shit.
People want to
Love
be
to see
here. They feel safe. You guys are basically the Avengers, and they're moving to the neighborhood as close to the tower as they can.
No wonder Brevoy is setting up a garrison at Oleg's trading post to keep an eye on us. They're fucking scared. We got them shaking in their boots.
Both Thornburg and Abadar's Rest, which was a name I came up with during the RP, and I don't like the most. If anyone would like to change it, let me know. They'll probably cap it like 25, just villages along the road, which Grinluke has basically taken to just like patrol the road. There's not a whole lot of rumors of banditry, but like this is a sacred place to his deity, and he will defend it.
Where's Abadar's Rest? Okay.
My man.
Anyway, that is the end of my exposition. What do, team?
Is that what we're claiming that hex next, right?
I suppose you can probably
Can
go
we
ahead
consider
and
the Abadar- can we-
consider it claimed. Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, can we consider because we are the Thornburg one we claimed.
But
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah,
Abadar's
Rest-
Rest it's the settlement there, and they have pledged fealty to you. So, yeah,
I
consider
love
it.
that name, by the way.
So we
Thank you.
absorb that heck.
Just consider
I
it
like that.
claimed.
And Thornburg's good too. It's very
A burg on the Thorn River.
Thornburg is
River,
more, like Aristilian, I think.
I can see it.
okay. So this is cool. All right.
Let's all remember how
hmm.
kingdom turns work really quickly.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
That's a part of this game.
Kingdom turns? What were we making again? Oh, yeah.
So we just take the silver mine hex next.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We might want to pick that up.
I guess,
So-
do we want to run all 6 right now? Or do we want to just do a handful or just do one?
So
Well, there's some
Let-
there's some stuff I wanted to do. Like I said, I wanted to I imagine my my piece is done.
Yeah, it doesn't take super long. He essentially just has to like melt down a couple of pieces of iron, and there's a slot where one could jam a greatsword.
Cool. And then yeah, it's super heavy because I need it to be super heavy.
Yeah, heavy as hell.
Cool.
could we? This is a little. I think just for the simplicity of like time management and such, like, would it make sense to like let's do the 6 kingdom turns, and then once we've kind of like queue them, so that once we've done that, we can do some kind of RP stuff while those kingdom turns are progressing. It's just so that we don't do like a kingdom turn and then do other stuff and then come back to do like another kingdom turn, and like the back and forth. It's kind of eliminate the back and forth and just like
Get
say
it
this
all
is
done
what our
once, and then do it all.
this is what our 6 kingdom turns are going to be, and then if we want to do things in between some of those months while those are happening, we can
we do it
can do
in
that.
time is wibbly wobbly.
yeah
I suppose what I will say also is if we do 6 months of kingdom turns now, we'll end in Pathfinder's January.
Okay.
So once again, we'll come to that point where it's like too cold to travel
Getting
comfortably.
cold. Getting cold, yeah.
And also, if we're committing to that now, then we roll over 1 year in the Stolen Lands. I don't know when characters' birthdays are, but everyone, just to drive it harder onto Esker's chest really quickly, everyone ages 1 year. Does that...
Oh, we're so
Wait.
old.
I don't suppose it's relevant for any other, like, no one's pushing middle age.
Oh no, Kato is 21 now.
No, you can drink legally. We did
I
it.
forgot that I'm older than you.
Are you older than me?
Yeah, I'm 22 now.
Oh right, because like we were in the same class, but they held you back a year. So you were a year older than everyone else in our grade.
Is that what happened?
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
was just so smart. They held me back to help the other students learn more.
Sure, they would have sacrificed your learning because you were too smart. Yeah.
Yeah,
that-
she had 1 year as like a teacher's aide.
It was like a No Child Left Behind kind of deal, you know. Just held back because the rest of you were so dumb.
Is that what your mom told you?
Oof. I was gonna make a George W. Bush joke, but I feel like the moment has now passed.
My mom just, how dare you?
Yeah, that was
Oh.
actually a tragic thing in her backstory. That was
Sorry. Mubby.
Got him.
Got him.
Talk about you know.
So on another point, I just looked at it, and an academy is goddamn expensive.
It's an academy.
I know.
Oh, you're just gonna throw up an academy.
Right,
straight off the
yeah.
bat.
I mean,
4 walls and a mat. That's all you need.
Yeah, this
let's
is
see if
where
there's
the
a-
academy
let's see
is.
if
Hell
there's
yeah.
a lesser.
Yeah.
If there's a lesser version.
What the
Cathedral.
hell is...
Cathedral's super expensive, obviously. Well, here's what I think. I'm just going to throw a few things out here. Since our settlement is going to be ballooning here, we should probably consider. And since we've been attempted to be invaded once, city walls might not be a bad.
We don't have walls, my lord.
The keep is not enclosed.
It's a moat, but that's a foreign.
You try to send Ionia back to Restov, and she's let's quarter run. I think we're still making stronghold jokes anyway.
I know.
We wouldn't.
I'm
we
catching
wouldn't-
all these stronghold references.
My guy.
Okay, we wouldn't build an academy for the dueling academy, even though that kind of makes sense because the progression is library, academy into university, which I guess it could work. But here we have there's another alternative, which is guild hall, which says it's a headquarters for a guild or a similar group organization. I think like a group.
Why
of
don't we
folk.
build like a nice bardic college?
And it upgrade. Oh no, but that upgrades from a trade shop, which is... Okay, so that's like a guild, like a Mason's guild or something.
I suppose
Yeah, no, I think academy is the way to go.
before we get too far ahead of yourselves, we should probably roll the
Sure.
kingdom check,
Ooh.
if you would.
Yeah.
There's
I don't-
open rebellion after
I
one.
think we should build
We don't have a town
inclined
hall, guys.
racing track.
Guys, we don't have a town hall.
That seems like an oversight.
You got a castle. Why do you
The
need a town hall?
That's
Well,
true.
I don't know if it's an oversight. What do we need a town hall for?
Town hall. A public venue for town meetings, a repository for town records, and an office for minor bureaucrats.
Honestly,
We have minor bureaucrats now.
Rather than calling them out in the square. Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably. The town hall's not overly expensive. It gives a discount to a barracks, cistern, dump, jail, and watchtower, which we've.
The way
built
you said
many of them.
overly makes me think that it's more expensive than we would like.
It's 22 build points. It's
All right, let's stick to the square.
all right.
Seems great.
It's a nice open air concept, you know.
Very modern.
It's our open air hall, don't you know? Put 4 walls and a mat down.
It grants a lot though. It's economy 1, loyalty 1, and stability 1,
By God,
Yeah,
you've convinced me.
and law 1. So
Actually,
that's
those are
plus
all
1 to
really
all.
good.
So it gives 4.
And also,
it's a total plus 4, like total bonus to the kingdom.
did we ever get that jail built?
Nope.
No, we're still
No,
holding people in
That would
unused homes.
Also
Yes.
give us.
Town hall gives you a discount on the jail.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, okay, let's.
All right, let's see how many build points we got.
Shouldn't we? Yeah, we should
Or this
deal with
month.
the unrest and the fact that we're gonna have
And that
people.
too.
Let's remember how kingdoms.
All right, Warden, stability. Go.
Well, I do that. Just
roll
strength
a,
roll.
roll a d20. We're rolling a stability roll, and we add 13 to it.
Just a D20 plus 3, you said?
Plus 13
13.
from a lot of that comes from Arcturus.
Oh wait, I get to pick what I'm supporting this month, right?
Yes. What would you like to
Either
support?
economy, loyalty, or stability. I'm just gonna go economy for now.
Make that money.
I think that's-
Okay, that should beat the DC. It actually doesn't. It would
Oof.
fail.
It would fail.
Want to use a hero point?
I thought I add my strength to this. I don't. Or did I
You are.
already do that?
That's figured into the math.
Yeah, it's part. Yeah, the 13 includes your strength plus other modifiers.
The alignment of the kingdom. There's a minor unrest penalty on it for a total of 13. Where does the treasurer go? Hold up. We have a treasurer. Adding his. Okay, it's bad. There are so many people so rapidly in the first month in Concordia that Calera is a little overtaxed. And so I'm gonna quickly do a thing. We're gonna add, I don't know what Chief Sootscale's int is. He has a sheet. I'm gonna say his int is +1. There we go. So our economy's up by 1. Dope. Just 1 second. That seems like it's auto-calcing. Bang. Haboom. 21. Yahtzee. Okay. So what the hell happens? I remember how this works. Oh, good. Here we go. I believe... Jesus. Here I am. If anybody happens to find it or know off the top of my head, please don't hesitate to
What are you looking
shout.
for?
What happens when Calera fails?
Oh, if stability
I know
fails.
unrest
I had the
increases.
rules.
I just forget by how much.
I think it's
0.5.
0.5.
If
think
you
it's a
if you
point.
succeed, unrest decreases by 1. If this would reduce unrest below 0, add 1 BIP to treasury. If you fail by 4 or less, unrest increases by 1. If you fail by 5 or more, unrest increases by 1d4. Unfortunately, if Calera could roll a d4.
Calera is taxed. Is she spending too much time wasting too much time with those gnomes?
Okay.
Oh, thank God.
Oh,
Fortunately,
nice.
unrest only increases by 1. There's a lot of
Sick nat one.
people. There are lots of rumors about Calera that aren't the best. Like Cato has basically bought someone from Restov out of jail to kill people for him. And this is also in turn like rumors that Concordia's military and Concordia, like the warden herself, will hire basically whoever will pick up a weapon. So there are a lot of like not the nicest people coming in, and then a couple nights later you come to find out that someone's house was broken into. The drunken disorderlies from the sword bros, which I guess is what I'm going to at large call the people from Restov who have come to learn FOP style, the sword bros.
Sword bros.
That increases as like things go on, and boom. Okay, cool. And then we have consumption to pay, which I remember what is. We have not done this in a little while.
Yeah. So we
geez,
currently
Rick.
don't have any of the.
Consumption
no festivals going
is you're paying 1 build point in consumption, and then there needs to be an increase for Jesus. I was ready to do this even though I just moved. We're so good. You guys have tacked on 2 extra settlements, so I believe consumption increases with that.
That would make sense.
Because now you need to, like, you're taxing them, you're getting revenue from them, but you're also...
So our size is now 3 from 1, I think, right? That's number of settlements, and then
Kingdom size is
Population is 80.
terrain improvements. Oh Christ. I'm almost tempted to say just increase consumption by 2, 1 for each. That seems to be the best quick and dirty as I'm jamming through Ultimate Combat as fast as I can, or Ultimate Campaign. Trying to figure out exactly what it is. See page 207. So yeah, that's probably what I will say is just like as a quick, it's a -3, or consumption goes from 1 to 3 now to Abadar's Rest and Thornburg's upkeep, basically. I think that's right, unless somebody can like quickly pull it out of their butt that I'm just dead wrong.
I know that we built a farm which reduces the consumption of an adjacent settlement by 1,
which I think is reflected in here.
We already have that calculated in the sheet.
I think so.
Consumption increases by 2 with the farm, yes.
Kingdom turns are so complicated. So many rules.
So many rules. How to do. That would be my call, is just to like quickly bump it by, or what does an inn give you in consumption? Because basically that's what they've built.
Did we add the Smithies points in here? I don't think we had the Smithies points in here.
No, we did not. What does the smithy add?
It's 1 economy, 1 stability, and 1 unrest.
20 economy?
1.
20 economy.
Get out of here.
It no longer matters what the upkeep is.
1 economy, 1 stability, 1 unrest.
Okay. Wouldn't have helped unrest. Or wouldn't have helped stability, I mean. But that's cool. All right.
Okay. We should also add +2 economy and +2 loyalty from 2 inns, which is basically the only of note in Thornburg or Abadar's Rest, other than like the homes that the people who live there live in.
Makes sense.
A place for visitors to rest. Also dawns on me that if I do the math, that means they spent like 40,000 gold to build an inn. Abadar is very nice. The road generates inns. Ah, strange. What happened?
What a guy.
What a guy.
Giveth.
Here I am just like zooming and trying to figure out exactly what things are, but I think that's where we're at. Unless there's anything we're not calculating from anywhere else, we can probably go ahead and roll the economy check.
Okay. So my charisma modifier with my fancy new circlet is bumped from we've been using 3, now it's 4.
Okay, cool.
So what is our total roll here? 5 for Ionia, 4 for Senya, 5 for Bakken.
And
1
add
for
3 from Grinluke as well. He has over, like, this is now a good time to flavor text his class abilities. You guys probably see this happen moving around the town and stuff. Like, somebody will go to the smithy and the sword that they bring in for repair is like shoddy even before the damage to it, and Grinluke lays his hands on it, and then it is a masterwork weapon. In lieu of lay on hands, he has a bunch of like expend a use of lay on hands, increase the amount of stuff that this settlement can buy, increase the amount of wealth it generates.
My boy Grinluke.
My boy Grinluke, Knight of Coins.
So what was Grimluke's number?
I'll put it in real quick. plus 3.
3. Okay.
Grin Luke. Boom. And then that means, did we get it on the other side? We did not. No. Okay. So then it should be 13 before Kato's 4. So that it's a 17. Or
4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I have 21. So Ionia 5, Senya 4, Bakken 5, Sootscale 1, Grinlook 3.
Yep.
Kato 4. And then I have -4 for our unrest. Damn it, you, Kalira.
And then did we get
And then all the buildings.
Did we add the +2 from the new buildings?
From the
2 new inns?
the inns? Yes, I did.
Okay. Dope.
The 8 includes the +2. Yeah.
Splendid. So then we're looking at
All right, so that
30, 31, D20 plus 33. Damn. If you would.
I'm going to hero point that.
Okay, fair enough.
That's better.
And it's considerably gooder. So then we do a scroll already to the top of the PDF. You get a lot of build points out of that because the roll is so egregious. Alrighty. Determine that, modify unrest. I don't like how you have to get paid at the end. That's dumb. I hate that. How do you know what you're
pay
buying? At the, like, if you ran the kingdom turn the way it's supposed to go, you get paid at the very end of all the sequences.
Right,
After
yeah. You're
edicts and
supposed to
things.
like carry over, and you're supposed to carry over enough that you can pay your consumption prior to generating, which
It's dumb. I do not lack. Okay.
seems dumb.
So the total is 48. We divide that by 3. We subtract 3 from consumption. Concordia makes 13 build points this month. Actually, round that to 15 to make a quick and dirty math because we weren't factoring in. We're getting this month, it's the mines plus trade from the Uruxi. Next month, it will be just the Uruxi. So,
Okay.
just a quick +0. Easy
So
peasy.
15. All right. Then we move on to
Then,
edicts.
indeed, if there are any edicts we need to call, I don't think there are.
So technically assigning soot scale is an edict, but so we
Meh.
done.
Benefiting from him faster seem better.
Yeah. All right. So there's holiday edicts, improvement edicts, promotion edicts, and taxation edicts.
I suppose that's relevant. How much do we want to
Yeah,
tax?
we need to set what our taxation level is going to be now for the since we're going to be growing in population. This is going to heavily impact the amount of build points we generate, but it's also going to impact is it loyalty or stability? I think
Impacts
it
loyalty.
reduces loyalty. Yeah.
I think presently we're set at, I forget what, I think we're taxing them light. I'm trying to find it anywhere on the sheet.
Taxation.
This is going to be the point where we're adding the taxes like double. But indeed, you're looking at, you can, to not tax at all is an economy of nil, but loyalty +1, and then it goes all the way up to overwhelming taxes at +4 with a loyalty of -8.
Overwhelming taxation, I think.
+4.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Just drain these people dry and then
And kick them all out.
So there's no taxation.
I think presently we're sitting at none taxation, and all of our
Right.
revenue is coming from other stuff.
And
now
I think
that you're
Avatar is
growing so
not
much
gonna be
faster.
happy about that.
Yeah, it's reasonable.
Well, now that we have
What's-
people that we can tax, it would be a good time to implement taxation.
What's the lowest level after none? called?
Light taxing for a +1 to economy, but a -1 to loyalty.
To loyalty.
How's our loyalty looking?
Loyalty is at
5.
6.
6.
Or in total, 23.
23.
It let us down this month, but in general, it's a solid. It's pretty reliable.
It's our second best stat.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't
we-
we haven't done anything to negatively impact it at all, really, except our unrest affects
Mhm.
everything.
I think it's fine. We should, for RP reasons, if only, we should at least have light taxation.
Well, yeah, we should have at least light. I was suggesting maybe more.
Maybe even more. What's the next one called?
After that, we are looking at, I think, normal taxation, the standard rate that you would find across Galarian, and probably what most of the people coming from Restov are used to, a +2 to economy, but minus loyalty. Then after that, it's heavy at +3, -4, and then overwhelming is +4. After overwhelming, it's probably just how many peasants with pitchforks can Kato possibly parry.
I think even overwhelming might lead to that with the -8.
Kalira takes 3.5 cleave and just starts like somebody dies. She continues her attack and it loops forever. 3 hours later, Kalira's standard action is over.
I mean, 2 for 2 is still a even trade, so.
Yeah.
It's the last one before we start. The negatives start to actually outweigh the positives. I mean, I'm
But
okay
here's the
with-
thing. Here's
I'm
the
okay
thing.
with
Our
standard tax.
economy is our best stat, and you religiously put your buff to economy. I don't
Sure.
really think we need to. I think we need to protect our lower stats instead of stacking on our best stat.
I mean, but economy is what
That money.
builds the kingdom, right? Ultimately.
Right. But you saw that stability check, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Also, so we need to start.
I got no help over here. This is why I was trying to get an arena.
I mean,
Wait, that was a
Wow,
loyalty
Eco
check.
is smaller
that
than
was
you, though.
stability.
Yeah,
that was
Then why
stability.
did he roll it then? I'm
Because I-
stability. Your
No.
loyalty.
Somebody said Kalira roll stability. The dice
Uh,
were rolled. The RNG
I
was
caught
about the
I
Ooh,
same
put,
number.
I put, yeah,
That
I
was
just
my bad. Sorry.
Please support
Esther.
us on
Son
Patreon
of
so
a
we
bitch.
can continue to watch us not know how kingdom turns work.
God damn it, Del.
Yeah,
I thought it.
I
all right,
didn't
don't
know.
worry. You have 5 more kingdom turns to roll.
Esker, have you looked at the sheet?
I mean,
I'm
it
the.
couldn't have like
Yeah.
we only have +17 down here in stability land, so it honestly didn't hurt us. Still, it's my thing. Come
Stability
on.
land, I'm
It is
dead.
his thing. We should take his thing away from him. Sorry.
Well, he's got
dude.
5 more things.
And next month, because we need to get this unrest, because we only reduce by passing our stability checks, we reduce unrest by 1 each time,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
So maybe I'm probably going to put some support in there.
Still, though, my point is, yeah, we need more things to.
Yeah,
boost it.
but I think loyalty, taking a dip on loyalty right now, I think is fine to boost economy. If it was a negative to stability, I would say that's probably super detrimental.
We
but-
forgot to factor in also that Spymaster gets to choose and add. Like she could have played any of the 3 roles depending on.
I
what she
learned
I'm
something.
gonna be honest, guys. I have no idea how any of this works. So you just tell me what I'm doing, otherwise I'm gonna sit back and.
You know,
Well,
same.
what's your highest? Dex or int?
Oh, definitely int.
Okay, and what is it? Plus.
+5. So she
Okay,
could
so
put
ma-
it in any of the 3. It was an economy for this one, but like she could move around to.
Oh,
We-
okay. So we did get credit for it. Okay.
Yeah.
never mind.
We got credit for her in economy. Yeah,
But if we wanted to move it to loyalty next month or something, we could.
we could. Yeah,
Right.
Or I'm sorry, stability. Probably the bigger concern.
get that stability fixed. Yeah, because we're at -4 now.
On that note, as just like an RP thing, now that we have like other settlements and crap, I want to start expanding my spy network.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Sounds good to
We
me.
might also want to start investing in stability-based buildings.
That's true as well.
That was what I said.
I know you want this arena real bad. Real bad.
Well, we have
Yeah.
6 months to play with,
+4
so
to stability. I guess you're not.
Because, man, people go in and, they get rid of all their rage watching people beat the hell out of each other.
Read in games and
That's how Rome worked.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. It's.
Hail, Cato! We who are about to die salute you.
People don't care that they live in squalor if they see people dying. It's like, hey, at least I'm not that dude getting eaten by that lion.
Just gonna throw this out there. The jail also boosts stability, and I've been an advocate of that from the beginning.
That's true. Jail's kind of important. I think that town hall is probably important.
A city
Town hall and jail.
City
And,
walls are
yeah.
2 build points and would
arena.
knock your unrest down by 2.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, the walls are cheap and they're good for that.
Speaking of walls, for one of the kingdom events that happens, this is somebody. Y'all are in pretty constant communication with the allies. You learn that Dazia and some of her other cohorts have stone-shaped the busted graves back together, and so the cemetery is repaired free of charge.
Oh,
well, that's nice.
What a nice gesture.
Everybody just
We
turns into
did
big
build
gray
that
miners.
watchtower on the
Yes.
second, right?
Oh,
Yes,
that is the next thing is over the course of events, we did want to send Rogue Squadron out to the watchtower at the Old Sycamore.
Yes.
Right? They are overdue.
Okay.
Oh boy. It's the
Fucking Rogue Squadron.
they are overdue and they have not yet returned.
They should.
Well, it was probably just the Tiger Lords killed them is all.
Yeah.
We only set one. We just set Wedge.
Oh, we just sent Wedge, yeah.
Wedge. I kind of
Yes.
now that the Final Fantasy set is out, I kind of want to flavor big. But it's tempting.
Should I go investigate?
I mean, you've got the super fast horse now.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
Okay.
Senya's eyes kind of are Terra, the player, sitting next to me. As soon as we enter Kingdom turn, her eyes glaze over and she starts browsing Reddit.
Same TBH.
So, which
Okay.
is fine. This is not the part of the game that interests her. So, if we want to send her out on a little RP excursion while we number
Sure.
crunch
So
build
while,
points,
while the nerds
don't
do
see a problem with
nerd
that.
stuff, I'll just play with Senya. Does anybody want to go with her? Senya, do you want to?
I'll go.
Yoni and Senya. Another whirlwind adventure.
Can you do you have a horse? Can you ride a horse, Ionia?
Probably some other rando horse.
Ionia. Okay,
Borrow Gore Stepper.
we're gonna have. I don't know if you can keep up with Senya.
She casts
That's the only
Expeditious
problem.
Retreat on herself at duration hours per level. And okay, cool. So while that's
Sounds good.
happening, you two, you make your way where the watchtower is being built. The watchtower is finished. The watchtower is done. However, you get, I'll move your tokens about here or so. Yeah, probably about there. When you, in fact, do find 3 bodies lying in the middle of the room. Their horses.
The 3 bodies of Rogue Squadron.
Yeah. They appear to be heal checks. I gotta, one of my patrons gets so mad when I say a heal check appears. Gotta not do that. Their bodies look super gross. Knowledge, nature, or heal checks would tell.
Oh wow.
Oh wow, look at that.
Yahtzee.
You
Okay,
know what?
so-
I'll tireless logic that
Got it.
Hello.
for 5 more points.
21 all told. Okay, so all 3 of them and their horses, they have, at first glance, it's as if they had been peppered with like some kind of small piercing implement over and over and over. Like almost like you'd got hit with a shotgun, but the shot hadn't gone all the way through. Ionia, you stop, you think about it. Dawns on you that it appears, of all the things in the world, they were set upon by a horde of something with like as if they had been pecked. In some cases, their armor is pierced through skin, especially on the horses who are unprotected, is like as if they had been nommed upon by carrion birds or something like that, and that's what did them in.
they were killed by carrion birds.
Or perhaps like a vulture would be too big. Something more like a trained. It's really hard to say, but some kind of pretty small bird.
Well,
Like a flock of ravens?
like a murder of crows.
But yeah.
Well, following what I know of carrion birds, which it looks like is the culprit of this, they eat things that are already dead, which makes me think they're trained.
Yeah, there we go. Got it.
Nice connecting the dots there.
Yeah.
All three of them, they appear to have. They've probably been in the dirt, like as soon as they got here. Set upon. You find one of their swords, like 1d6 plus 1, as if they tried to draw it and then couldn't quite like try to swing, get pecked a bunch, drop your weapon, it goes flying, that kind of thing.
And this, guys, is why we need to train duelists, because Aldori trained duelists can draw their weapons as part of the initiative step.
Get out of here, Ghost of Cato.
You know, also, if the Ghost of Artoris wanted to show up, he'd tell you gunslingers can too. Anyway.
Senya, can you tell how long ago this would have happened?
Is that like a survival check,
Yeah,
or what is
yeah,
that? Oof.
It's
I'm a hero point that.
all right. Make it so. Looks like I don't know the exact figure off the top of my head, but like they left Rooston, crossed Thornburg, the direction of the Watchtower. When they hit here, they were immediately sat upon and killed, and then they've sat since. So they've been probably. I will leave it up to you two how long of like, well, hell, where is Rogue Squadron before we go out to find? They could have made the old Sycamore and back on that road in like a day and a half if they wanted to stop at Thornburg for. They wanted to have like a pit stop along the way kind of thing.
We're such irresponsible lords. We sent them off on this thing, and then like it's like a 2-day round trip type deal, and then like 4 weeks later, we're like, whatever happened to Rogue Squadron?
It's on like the fourth kingdom turn. Like, wait a minute, shit.
Wait.
And yet, isn't it interesting how every time it seems like anybody we know or we've sent to travels this road, something like this happens?
I have concerns for what's his name? Grimlook. He might be it might be dangerous for him to walk this road alone.
The only
First road.
Bana.
Well, what concerns me is is our watchtower done yet?
Yes, the Watchtower is complete.
It's been done.
We can immediately
So,
add whatever that does to the sheet. The old number.
Maybe
It was already on there.
Oh, dope.
maybe we should pay a visit to the watchtower and figure out what's going on over there, because they certainly don't seem to be watching for carrion birds.
Yeah, so we'll make over our way to the watchtower.
Righty. So IIRC, the Watchtower, is built like kind of treehouse style in the old Sycamore. Yeah. That's dope. I love that. You love to see it. We're all just a bunch of Bosmer. They come back, Ionians, and are wearing bone armor and a trunk. I digress. There are a couple people manning it, and they see the pair of you, and they do the formal like salute bow. Then like look at you expectantly.
crack some skulls.
I kind of nudge Ionia. I think you better take.
Isn't this kind of your like?
This is your domain, Warden.
You gotta remember, the
Jeez,
warden
Marshall.
is the marshal. I get him fucked up all.
Or
The marshal is
Marshal.
about 6 seconds behind Ionia because she rules as written was dazed for that. Well, no, it wasn't a combat. Never mind, I lied. She's good. No drawbacks here.
Oh.
Oh.
So Senya kind of looks up at the. There's two of them, or how many are there?
Yeah, there's two.
Looks up at the two people at the watchtower. Ho there. Have you seen what happened to are the bodies like within visual range of them, or like how far away are they from?
They're probably like an hour's ride.
Okay.
They might be within visual range as like a dot somewhere if this part of the stolen land wasn't as.
Okay, so they don't really like have like a visual on the bodies, but they might have seen something. So, ho there, have you seen any strange activities around here?
They both kind of look at each other, look back at you, just. No, haven't, Marshal. Haven't heard much of the mites lately, but I suppose that's to be expected. They just kind of scratch their head. Why? Why do you ask?
Have you seen any strange flocks of birds flying around?
Not particularly. Haven't really looked though. They kind of look at each other. One of them is much quieter than the other, and he kind of just shrugs and shakes his head. The one who seems to be the more talkative back to, not really.
Do you have any suggestions, Ionia?
I don't really. How long ago did the mites go missing?
At the same time as the Scales, they are like one faction, basically. So that would be canonically time is wobbly as this is happening over the. So it could be as early or as late. Like it could have been yesterday. It could have been 2 weeks.
Time is wibbly wobbly. I don't know. How long have you all been out here?
They kind of look back. They do like 4 hands come out to start counting on their fingers. How long has the Watchtower been complete? Y'all can...
2 phases ago.
2 phases ago. It's been we were stationed here as basically as soon as it was done. They look back at each other.
And you didn't see what happened to these men, and you didn't see what happened to the mites and the kobolds?
They nod. Mites don't really come up much. Sometimes they come up by darkness. Don't seem to like the light much, you know.
Well, sure. Have you seen anything?
Nothing really out of the ordinary. You guys have a pretty good line of sight to the road from this tower. Lots of traffic on the road. That seems pretty cool. But other than that, they shrug.
Were the bodies within a distance that they should have been able to see from the tower?
Yes, if there weren't hills in.
Oh, but there are hills in the way.
Yeah. They have line of sight from the tower to the road, but not like.
Well, shit, we didn't really think this watchtower thing through, did we?
They
Fucking hills.
have line of sight of the road, which is the important.
That was the point of the watchtowers for the road, mostly.
Level this whole place.
And to like be on top of the mites, I believe.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Ionia, I know it's a lot to ask of you probably, but do you think perhaps you can do an object reading on one of the personal effects of the men?
Anyone but Wedge.
Yeah, the Ghost of Clear is telling me to do an object reading on one of
On
Wedge's
Wedge
items.
specifically.
I said anyone but Wedge. Don't do Wedge.
I heard Wedge
Worst.
specifically.
Let's roll for it to see who.
Roll a D3. Doing like ABC.
I mean, you should probably assign
Yes,
who's. what
I was
number.
hoping for a 1, so it would
Oh,
be
okay.
Biggs in Ionia's mind's eye and stomach. You just feel really hungry as you continue to eat ye old turkey. Bastard. But the D3 does point out Biggs.
Okay.
All right, so we'll make our way back to the bodies, and we'll pick out a personal object from Biggs's body, and I'll hand it over to Ionia. It's probably, I don't know, a sword.
Okie dokie.
And you probably want an appraise check.
Please.
Oh, I don't think I made it that time.
You
actually.
did not. Would you roll it? Yeah, you literally rolled it too. Yeah. Well, if you want to make a hero point roll.
I don't really, because we have kingdom stuff
That's fair.
happening.
Okay. So Ionia, you take Biggs's I guess like his sword. You hold it in your hand, you close your eyes, and you can't really get much of anything.
I'm not really getting anything from this. Maybe try one of the other two.
Reasonable.
Is that cheesy?
Slightly, but it's fine. It'd only be cheesy if you just jammed appraise checks at Biggs's sword specifically until you got the DC. Like, close your eyes and squint real hard and just Super Saiyan out and grab it.
Yeah, let's do that. Just kidding.
How many
I'll roll
people
it
like
for you.
OG Star Trek, but I want to say she just goes full Charlie X, and I don't know who will get that reference.
I got you.
Haha, my guy, Esker,
Yep.
saving the day, as
Charlie X.
always. I can probably find that gif.
So who's number one?
Ooh.
Please say it.
You were getting lucky.
Tibor's so lucky.
I'm not lucky. Dale, do you not
There
know
we
what
go.
we're doing?
All right, that's I think you're shooting at a DC, if I remember correctly.
Oh,
don't know.
For some reason, I thought it was 15.
I don't know why.
wrong.
No, Tibor, I don't know why you don't want her to do a reading on the third. Wow, looks like all that's left is number 3.
I guess all that's left is Wedge.
'Cause
Wow.
all Wedge does is fucking eat, man. It's the worst.
Not big. Was the one
Like
that-
me.
Oh, what do you
Okay.
Oh, there it is.
So it's real hard to get it together. Get there at the end with the last one. As Ionia centers herself, gets hold of it, it's terrifying for a solid, like, probably about 20 seconds before you break out of it. But it's just 20 seconds of the sensation of being poked all over your body and like pierced all over your body. The cawing of creatures, discordant, almost like trained to be as dissonant as possible in their cawing, the stench of meat that has been rotting for weeks. The last thing you get is there's one, indeed a raven, from the swarm of these creatures. They how's your knowledge religion?
My knowledge religion? Do you want to roll?
Yeah, if you... It's super clear to Ionia that the ravens are undead. You'd like the sensation of, you get Wedge's sense of smell and the smell of death, and there's a little bit of like mindfulness on Ionia's part as the two consciousnesses separate enough for Ionia to be like, well, what am I seeing? You're seeing a swarm of undead creatures, but one of them appears to be living, and it breaks off from the rest of the swarm as that swarm disappears, and it flies due south. For
Towards
reference, south is on this map weird this way.
Oh, I forgot the map is all wonky. Towards the crypt.
Ionia comes back too.
Do I know anything about like undead being associated with Girona? Is that a thing?
I suppose only in the sense of like they are associated with Girona as undead are generally, in the same way that like angels are associated with all the good deities. She's not super known to conjure up a bunch of Zambos, but she could.
Okay, gotcha. Ionia will kind of gasp as she comes out of that harrowing experience.
Are you okay?
Kind of take a moment, blinking. You just never really get used to experiencing somebody else's death. It's a lot.
Sorry, I asked you to do that.
The gifts were given. I wasn't able to glean a lot from that, but I did get the distinct impression that the flock of birds that did this to them were trained, and I believe they were undead as well. I'm not really sure what to make of this information, though.
And did you maybe see a direction that they came from, or what?
One of them did break away and flew south.
We should probably report on their deaths to the rest of the council and let them know that at least the watchtower is done and it has visibility on the road, but we obviously have a problem with undead birds now.
We should also stop back at the watchtower and maybe let them know that this is something to keep an eye on. We should bring their bodies back to the Keston Memorial as well.
Of course.
Okay. So it was. I guess what we might do is, I don't hear enough from Ionia or Senia, and there's a lot of things that are happening right now that could happen to Ionia and Senia. If you guys want to have like a general plan of the next 6 months of kingdom building with the click clacks in the background, that would be dope. Or if anyone wants to interject or questions, comments, concerns, let me know. But I was hoping to get Senia out of the kingdom for a little while, because there's gonna be a lot of big Senia things happening. Like all of everything has landed where I wanted it to. It's so dope. So you guys go back,
and perhaps as the marshal.
Oh, you're the warden. Come on.
I could go riding in the countryside and just kind of scout about.
Yeah. Technically, also, I guess, for the sake of how the hell are we traveling, Grom is strong enough, because, like, unless my mental image of Ionia is entirely incorrect, I imagine Ionia and Senia are small enough to... Well, you wouldn't need to share a horse. You're not a Hussar. You don't have a horse with a speed of 70. So you're fine. Super good. Never mind. Forget I said anything.
Well, here's an interesting idea, though. If I rode on the back of Grom, I could be casting Mind's Eye, which gives us an additional mile radius of sight, and I can move that at 66 a mile per second or minute or something like that?
Faster
It's
than y'all
fast.
as an advance. And this is once again, where if we'd been a party of halflings, it'd be so much easier to jam all of you on a horse, and then one of you is just arcane eyeing forward. I'm gonna steal that for character. That's my next divination wizard. It's real good. Dope. Okay, so you guys go back. You go. Stop me if you want to RP anything out. You go back. You report to the folks at the old Sycamore what's going on. They kind of they nod, they look perplexed, but give the general, well, watch out for zombie birds. You're able to pretty easily, between the two of you at this point, fashion a simple, sled or sled adjacent apparatus for which to carry the bodies alongside back to the graveyard. Nice. It's basically a sensor in front of you. So
You
then,
all laughed when I bought a wagon.
wagons are important for carrying the dead. Bring out your dead! The first thing that sensor picks up as you guys are heading back, when you get to Thornburg, the sensor picks up a general sense of panic amongst the people. People are at the edge of the town running around scared, basically.
Uh-oh.
Well, that seems like something we should investigate. Senya, slow down.
Whoa there, boy. I kind of pull back on the reins to slow Grom down.
I imagine we're far enough away from this that Senya doesn't just see them herself.
Yeah, this is traveling. It can be up to a mile away from you, so you could be up to a mile away from Thornburg when you catch this.
Something
What?
seems to be happening in Thornburg. Approach with caution. I'll try to look a little further as we get closer.
So yeah, we approach a little more cautiously towards the town.
Okay. I guess, where do we want the sensor to go exactly?
I'll be kind of trying to track the movement of the panic. So if people are kind of running away from something, as an example, I'll be trying
Running
to
toward.
go in the direction they're running from.
Okay, easy enough. That's
So
basically
as
the
we
answer we were looking for. Good.
as we approach, do we run across?
I'm sorry, you cut out. Do you run across what?
As we approach the town, do we run across?
Damn, we lost her twice.
You're cutting out really bad, Tommy.
Well,
I
do we
am?
run across what?
Yeah.
Across anyone, I think. You said.
Yes. Do we run across anyone? Fleeing the town, I guess.
Sorry, there's a lawnmower right behind me because someone wants to mow their lawn on a Sunday. Welcome to suburbia, Tommy. But no, you do not run past anyone who is fleeing the town. But the arcane eye is able to track back in the direction they're running from, and it tracks not mechanically to a farm, quote unquote, but where someone has set up a very simple house in the country adjacent to the town, and there's a barn there, and cornered into the barn as if it had gone in there to seek shelter this is, I imagine, the first time Ionia has seen Tree Razor. But there's a mastodon.
Sorry,
There's a mastodon in the barn.
oh, a mastodon.
Oh, that's a tree raiser.
You probably can hear the newting of an elephant at this point as you continue going closer and closer. They're not quiet.
I assume I know about the existence of the mastodon and.
Well,
the
we
other
met him
black-
when we were building. When we were trying to get to Kendallmere Tower.
Yeah.
That first time.
Didn't meet him, but did find tracks? Or did we meet him? Now
No,
I
we
forget.
didn't meet him.
Okay,
We followed
never mind.
him to
Never
the
mind. We're
Uruxi.
good.
Yeah, he took us to the Uruxi.
I pay attention. But indeed.
Well, I think your friend might be here.
I hope it's not. I hope all this chaos is not his handiwork.
What's that guy's problem?
I don't know. He seems to be very angry at everything. Something happened. I mean, I don't know how much you know about what happened to
You
my
haven't
tribe.
really talked to me much about it.
That's true, but it was a very traumatic experience. I thought I was the only one, and so I fled, but Divicos survived, obviously, and sometime between then and now, he seems more angry than he was before, and I can understand why, but
Do you think he?
I do hope he's not taking that anger out on the simple folk out in the wild.
Do you think he might feel that you abandoned him?
I never have, but
If
he
he
might.
is wreaking havoc on the common folk, do you think you'll be able to talk some sense into him, or should we get the others?
You know, I tried, but you might be better at talking sense than I can. I'm not exactly wordsmith, if you have noticed.
I mean, I'm a little socially awkward myself, but hey, we can try. Minora's pretty charismatic. He's got a diplomacy 19.
He borks.
We should talk to him, and perhaps between the two of us, we can come to an understanding. If indeed he is the one that's causing havoc here.
If you think that this is something we can handle, then I trust you. Let's go see him.
Okay. So y'all make your way towards the barn where Tree Razor is holed up, and as you get closer to Thornburg itself, there's lots of like people running out asking for the Ionia, are you known by the title of Spy Master to the people?
Probably not.
That's where I'm at with the two. I'm like, oh, Milady Spy Master. Wait, no, why would you say you're the Spy Master? Defeats the whole point of being the Spy Master.
She's still the treasurer, and all they know.
Yeah, as far as they know, I'm the treasurer, probably.
Milady Treasurer, Milady. I almost said warden,
Courtesan.
son of a bitch. Milady Marshal, there's a monster in the barn. Oh shit! And they just continue panicking. As you get there, the newting of a mastodon gets real loud. You approach. There's probably like 4 or 5 very poorly armed humanoids with like sharpened sticks that they're calling long spears and pitchforks and rocks, and they've formed a semicircle around the outside of the barn where like Tree Razor's tusks, trunk, head, and front legs hang out. He stamps the ground angrily and continues nuding. As you turn the corner, an older human man, one of the ones with the rocks, hucks a rock at the barn, trying to hit Tree Razor, but hits the barn door. This just further incenses the animal, who continues nuding and stamping and stamping and nuding.
It was just like a Frankenstein situation.
I kind of yell out, "Hey!"
They all turn.
If you keep throwing rocks at him, it'll make him even more angry.
What are we supposed to do? There's a monster in the hay barn.
That's not a monster. That's a mastodon.
What's a mastodon?
Animal, stand down.
Scratches
They're
heads.
majestic creatures over from the north.
Just kind of like scratching heads.
I approach the barn with on Grom's back, and I yell out, "Divicos, are you in there?"
No response, but a newt.
I think Tree Razor is all by himself.
Anybody seen a black guy with antlers around here?
Yeah.
One arm.
Have I seen a one-armed man?
Good people of Thornburg. They're Thornburg. Gee, I can't talk today. Have you seen a rider on top of the mastodon, or was he here by himself?
They kind of unanimously shake their heads. No. Tree Razor stomps the ground. The person carrying a not long, basically just grab a oak tree branch, sharpen one end. It is now a pike. Like they turn that direction and kind of like they're not anywhere near close enough to stab the poor thing, but like they get uncomfortable and awkward as it happens, and like stamp. They lean forward with pike, stamp again.
Minoru and I are gonna start kind of trying to herd the people away from the mastodon. Senya, do your best to calm them down.
Senya's gonna hop off Grom and like kind of walk slowly towards the mastodon and like, whoa there, boy.
Trip.
Handle animal check.
Aw.
Okay.
Oof.
It's Tree Razor recognizes you. Tree Razor is still very uncomfortable as you approach and backs up. It's a little out of character for him. Continues nuding and stamping. Meanwhile, the dog is able to shepherd the people away relatively easily.
Are there any like branches or trees around?
Yeah, probably.
So I'm gonna like come to a tree and like chop off a branch with like a bunch of leaves on it and be like kind of offer that to him like, here, boy.
Okay.
You treating this giant animal like a puppy.
I mean, what are giant animals? Not puppies. I'll let you make another handle animal.
What is a mastodon but a long-nosed dog?
Okay.
Maybe we should try punching it because that was going well.
Dude, I guarantee I got a.
Oh man.
My animal handling is so good.
You should have
might
got
have worked.
the glove of punching. Senia, you go to hand the food to Tree Razor, who just kind of like they reach forward the trunk to grab it, but rather than grab it to eat it, they just kind of like they want to yank the branch out of your hands. How does Senia feel?
Senya's gonna let the branch go and kind of back up a little.
Wanted to see if I was making a grapple check or like pulling you off the ground by one end of the tree branch. Rather, they just pick up the tree branch and throw it off to the stomping and freaking out.
He's clearly very upset. I turn to Ionia and like let her know. How's Ionia's handle animal?
Well, I put 1 point in for the guard dogs.
World War Minoru has to shepherd the mastodon back by biting the mastodon's ankles.
Let's go.
Trip attack it, man.
Okay. How about this? Shit, never mind.
Do a knowledge nobility.
No, Kato. That's only you. Only when we don't need it.
Oh, oops. Wrong one.
Cindy, you should have borrowed the punching sleeve.
Good job.
Would have went a long way.
So we have
Proud of you.
what's the knowledge nature is a 13. What is question?
Oh, the knowledge nature was an accident. It was supposed to be knowledge nobility.
My proxy is there.
God damn it.
Anyways.
I was just following orders.
Tommy, did we get our horses?
The thing is, I
Yeah.
have things I can
Oh,
do
sweet.
if I had ever met Divicos, but I've never met Divicos. So,
Are we able to tell like what makes what's making the mastodon so upset?
If only
With,
you had a ring.
with Ionia's, knowledge nature check. It's
maybe just
kind
make
of.
use of that knowledge nature. Maybe.
Might as well. It's there. We'll use it. It's very
On
clear.
that one.
Did we sell
All
those
right, boys.
potions?
Let
I
me
guess
talk
we
to
can sell 'em.
fucking. I'm gonna mute you three. I swear to God. Okay, so it's very clear that Tree Raiser is acting, and Senia, you know this without rolling, like acting very out of character. Usually Tree Raiser is very happy to see you. That means something probably happened in the last some recent amount of time to like give the animal a big fight. They're probably sheltering in closest things they could find, this barn, and then people show up. They don't know what a mastodon is. They react as people do when they don't know what a mastodon is, which has further exacerbated things.
Getting pelted with rocks.
I can calm the people down. That's what I've got.
Perhaps that would be best. He's an animal, and it's a lot harder to calm him down. So if we can calm the tough of
spook him, we can try to spook him back into the forest.
Ooh. Get on that horse and start shooting arrows at him.
Wow.
Not hitting him, just scare him away.
Is your call, Senya?
we should try and get him out of here. He's gonna do more harm than good in the settlement, so he needs to go back into the wild.
Yeah, it's also, I guess I'll say, it's very clear that, like, Tree Raiser can fit in the barn, but only, like, just. And it would not be hard at all, full-grown bull mastodon, if it got its mind to it, to just, like, tear this barn apart, if not all of Thornburg.
I can make a loud sound to try to scare him the other direction.
Let's give it a try.
Alrighty, they definitely... At the moment, there's only... Yeah, that works, sure. An illusion. I don't know if there's a save against it. I guess not. Tree Raiser hears the sound of how you want to do this?
Ooh.
Ghost of Kato!
Now you don't want the ghost?
Taking notes from Jubilost. I'll just make like a I don't know, a sound like a predator or something. Like we heard the dragon make sounds, right?
Yeah.
So I'll maybe make the sound of like a dragon kind of from this side of Thornburg to try to scare him off over here.
Okay.
This is gonna get people worked up too, so be prepared for that.
Indeed. Create a volume of sound that rises. Here's what type does. The volume does that. I've never even. Did you know a horde of rats running and squeaking is about the same volume as 8 humans running and shouting?
Huh.
Neat.
That's knowledge.
Why is that on your thing?
Because
Why
it's
is
the
that a
flavor
thing?
text of the spell, Teebs. Jeez. It's important. You gotta know how loud the rats in the plague are. It's topical. Okay. So then anyone who hears it gets a will save to disbelieve. Sure. Mastodon has great will save. We got this. Get him, buddy. Where's your will save? Bang. And you're not... Stop being shaken. Kato's not here anymore. Hey, you're fine. You're so good. That means it's still a fail. Tree Raiser hears it. Tree Raiser begins to panic when this happens. Tree Raiser can't exactly stand on its hind legs. but does like rear back. As that happens, they go through the top of the barn. The trunk comes up and like hits a beam that was pretty critical to the overall structure of the barn, and the barn comes down around Tree, who then continues panicking. There's God, I guess I gotta do it. You hate to see it. Oh, those are GM rolls. I'll make them public. Okay. Some people, what's the DC? 15. They all, from behind you, in the village, there come shouts of, "Dragon, run for your lives!" And chaos rapidly ensues.
Yeah, I was afraid that might happen.
What do you do?
I'll go back around, start chasing down people and kind of explaining, no, that was just me. Calm down. Senya, figure something out with the Mastodon.
Okay.
Tell the people to stay in their homes, shelter in place. I kind of yell back at her.
I don't want to ask for a diplomacy check from Ionia. Okay.
Bam.
On a fail, that was gonna be like, that was you?
You're
the dragon? Oh shit!
+2 for any of them that are human, orc, or half-orc.
And most of them. So they all look a little confused and perplexed and just, "Milady Treasurer, why would you make sounds like a dragon? That's, well, okay, we'll," and they rapidly...
No, it's fine. I'm the dragon.
What? There's a pregnant pause. They all look at each other. We heard rumors about how Cato killed a dragon. We didn't know he'd put one in his court. I guess it makes sense. You're the treasurer of dragons.
I'm not a real dragon. I'm not a real dragon. I just make dragon sounds.
Oh.
It's a display.
That makes much more sense. That's much more plausible than you being a dragon. You love to see it. You love to see it. They're all just that guy. And they go back into their homes, and Senya... What do? You've got one more handle animal check. The bottom of the 9th.
So it's like, is Thornburg full of Monty Python background characters or something?
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
It's just 20 people from Great Britain. The entire population of Thornburg has agreed with Tree Raiser. They'll call it a draw. I think. Anyway.
So Senya, as a last Hail Mary, she's gonna go into her trance, and she's going to use an answer totem. It's gonna give me a +2 insight bonus to a skill, which I'm gonna handle animal.
Seems good.
Does your Furious Rancer add to that?
It does not. Only the bonus to strength from reaching, or damage rather.
I believe.
All right, here goes nothing.
Gotta be real. Okay. That's good enough that you don't now have an encounter with Tree. How do you want to flavor this?
So, as a last ditch effort, Senya kind of tries again to like kind of walk up to Tree
Raiser.
Tree Raiser. I don't know why I keep calling him Tree Ripper.
Because Tree Ripper is a much cooler name.
Oh. Cato is now dead. The king was assassinated. Aw, shit.
How dare you say that to Divicos' face?
Oh, I want to say a lot of things to Divicos' face right now. Don't you worry.
Fun fact, when I made his sheet, I don't know the name of the drawback that Cato has, but I gave Divicos the exact same one. It seemed to interact well.
So basically, if we see each other again, we're screwed because neither of us is gonna.
It's like a Pokemon battle. If you two lock eyes, it's on. Go, Mastodon.
So Senya tries again and like kind of slowly walks up to Tree Raiser, hands out, kind of like going shh, calm down, in kind of fashion.
Okay.
And she kind of guides him out of the barn and like guides him away from the town and like shoos him away.
Okay.
I think.
Alrighty, so guiding him out of the barn is a little more difficult now because there's not really a barn anymore. It's mostly a pile of wood where a barn used to be.
Fair enough.
But you're able to guide him. You reach out your hand, and he, like, the physical touch isn't like stop him in his tracks. He reaches his trunk out and puts the trunk on your head. Kind of does that like half embrace. He is, despite his size and his grip, which is still like very, very strong. Tree Razor is shaking. He grabs you like fear shaking. He's terrified. Certainly, you can lead him out if you wanted to, but like this will probably happen again. It's obvious. Actually, yeah, there is a saddlebag hanging from his back, but it is not attached to a saddle. Rather, there's just like, how do I want to? Some of the like, it's a mastodon saddle. Real weird. The part where the people would sit is empty, and like Divicos's lance is not there, despite his inability to use it. His bow was also like kept in the saddle. His bow, all the arrows are also missing.
Ooh. Loot.
Yeah. I wonder what happened to you and Divicos. I kind of muse and like kind of stroke him to kind of calm him down a little bit. Am I allowed to loot that? Like what's that saddlebag? I don't.
Do whatever you want.
Snatch it. Snatch it, girl.
I kind of like, I guess, take the saddlebags down from him, and to release the saddle from him to kind of like free him up. My whole thought is I can maybe ask Ionia to do the object reading again to see if we can find out what happened.
Oh, the
and
bow.
track Divicos down, perhaps.
Or determine his fate.
Determine his fate. Is there anything interesting in the saddlebag that we find?
There is a non-magical lance, a non-magical, or no, those are gone. I lied. I'm looking at his sheet and like, what's this? The one thing that does fall out of the saddlebag is his. Christ, we put it in chat last time we dealt with Divos. Boys, what is the name of his weapon that's very Anglo-Saxon?
A sax.
Sax. It falls out of the saddlebag. That seems to be the only thing of value there. Other than like a saddle for a mastodon. It's a very big saddle.
The sax is called Cato Razor.
Pop razor.
Well, I already have a. Like, what do we do with Tree Razor? We will let him. We'll let him back into the wild.
You let him back to the wild. This is just going to keep happening. I say we bring him with us, find somewhere to stall him and keep him calm, away from anywhere he can cause damage like this.
Perhaps we should guide him back to the lands with the Uruxi. They seem to be able to coexist with him. It might not be a bad idea.
All due respect, they keep letting him loose.
But he seemed to have kept to that side of the lands.
Until he didn't. And then he came here.
He came here only because Divicos came here.
You don't know that. We don't know where Divicos is.
Well, I was hoping you can help again with I kind of hold out the sacks.
I mean,
perhaps
I can look into it, but I think this man is very irresponsible with his companion, and we can't allow him to keep letting Tree Razor just trump about wherever he wants and create problems for us. We have to find a solution to this.
So do you suggest we take him back to Rooston with us? Where are we gonna keep him?
I don't know that bringing him back to Rooston is wise, but I think we need to find something to do with him. I don't have a plan yet, but I don't think we can just let him keep running free.
How much meat can you get off a mastodon?
Probably a lot.
How much meat can you get off Katos Sakara?
Not much.
Not
He's a
much.
spaghetti boy.
He's very skinny.
Like one flank steak, that's it.
I guess let's do this object rating and see what we can discern about Divikos.
Ready. Take that check. Quickly try to remember what the hell Oh, there it is. Aha! What? I can't believe I wrote down. So proud of myself. Spellcraft check is arbitrary. You'd be able to figure it out. As you pick it up, the sound of I can't make the sound, so I won't embarrass myself on YouTube any more than I already do.
Please try.
God damn it.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know what the sound of an angry stag sounds like, but that like grunt noise, that the weapon almost is like hostile to you as you pick it up. You don't think you're in danger, but it's like it does not feel like good when you hold it. Senia, this doesn't happen for you. You're passing it off. But Yodia, you pick it up and it's like the weapon doesn't like you. You also, both of you, as this is an exotic weapon, it's weird how the hell this thing was made, and probably Ionia definitely doesn't have the strength score necessary to wield it efficiently. It's almost just like a sharpened piece of metal. In a mechanical sense, Sax is a +2, and it has a lot of enchantments on it. It has the Keen enchantment on it, which we all know what does.
Mm-hmm.
It has the Human Bane enchantment, meaning +2d6 extra damage versus humans. It also has the Patriotic enchantment. It radiates with the collective power and strength of the Black Stags. If you are a member of the Black Stags, you get a +4 insight bonus on bluff, disguise, and sleight of hand checks to conceal it from anybody who's not a Black Stag. If you hit a flat-footed target who is not a Black Stag, it's a DC 13 will save, or the non-Black Stag is shaken for a minute, and you receive a +2 to confirm critical hits against non-Black Stags. You instinctively know that I named the weapon Tiger's Bane, because that's fun, but...
Named it what?
Tiger's Bane.
Oh, you keep cutting out after Tiger.
Tiger's Bane.
Yeah, you're cutting out real bad right now.
Bad. Ooh, new internet, who dis?
Robo Tommy.
You're Robo Tommy. Beep boop. Better? You didn't say no.
Tiger's Bane?
Yeah. Someone was mowing and I kicked on my noise gate. That might... Will just boop, ba-doop. Ionia, you prepare the object reading, and it's... I want to say Ionia has enough mental faculties about her that, or enough, mindfulness, I guess, shall we say, that when the rage hits you, as if the mastodon had run you over, there's enough mindfulness on Ionia's part to, separate out from it and realize this is someone else's mind that you've gone into, and you observe rage and charging a mastodon through the wilderness, knocking over anything, whatever you can get a hold of. You were able to catch a couple of trolls, but not Hargulka himself. You were able to get a couple of cultists, and I guess that means they won't go after, and then a bunch of dirty things about Cato. You come to a point where there is not the old sycamore, but somewhere in the Gnarl Marches, a particularly large tree. As you approach it, this like bright light appears, like as if it had stepped out of the tree. This like, you feel there's still kind of a separation between your mind and Divicos's, but you feel Divicos like hit the brakes way harder on his anger than anybody should be able to. Out from the tree, it's hard to tell exactly what they are. It's very Gandalf the White in Two Towers when we think it's Saruman and it's just a humanoid form with light behind them. It's a that kind of thing. And the light extends forward to Divicos. And you kind of like, his mind, I guess I'm going to say flatlines. It gets real fuzzy real fast as he
went to heaven, guys.
As he dismounts from Tree Razor, gets his lance, gets his bow, and just kind of like walks off with this shiny light figure, and they both disappear. There seems to be, it's
Easter? Did Easter just happen?
Yeah. You get a bit of like, you know that this was an animal that he was bonded with. They share almost a supernatural connection, and it's as if that connection had been just severed. That's probably what set Tree Razor off. Not only is his person gone, but his person with whom there's a supernatural link, that link is now missing.
Damn.
And yeah.
So, got abducted by aliens.
Nah,
we are near Numeria.
I am gonna
heaven,
mute the boys while we finish this.
Well, you're not listening.
There we go. Proceed. Did I cut off? There we go.
I think whatever happened to him is the same thing that happened to the Soot Scales and the Mites.
Well, the floor, now that the peanut gallery is silenced for a moment, the floor goes back to the Senia and Ionia. What do?
Tell me what you saw.
That was very strange. I don't think Divicos is on this plane anymore. I don't think he's dead. But he just kind of left. It's hard to explain. I'll kind of go through basically what you had explained about like the figure and the light and everything.
Okay.
I'm not sure where he's gone or if he's coming back, and I believe that his disappearance is what's set Tree Razor off. I feel even more strongly now that we should take him into our care. Also, I'll hand her the weapon. You should use this.
Yes, I recognize this is his personal weapon.
I think this would be very strong in your hands.
I kind of balance it in my hands. Not something that I would normally use, but in a pinch, I kind of tuck it into my belt.
Okay.
Would I know enough about like Tree Razor, I guess, to figure out if there's a way that we can kind of restore his not madness so much, but like keep him around without him going all ballistic.
Yeah, it would be difficult. It'd be like, now that you and Grom have a much deeper connection, or Ionia and Minoru, if one of you two were to disappear or die or something bad would happen to you, and then like the animal who doesn't super know what's going on has to cope with this, it's possible you can get through it, but it would be difficult, and Tree Razor can do a lot of damage in his bad moments.
Basically, I think here are the options. We need to either find a way to rehabilitate Tree Razor and keep him calm and under control, or we may need to put him down.
Okay.
That got dark.
It did.
I mean,
just gonna throw this out there. Ionia is not me, and I do not advocate putting down animals for bad behavior ever.
That's a quick
No,
a
I
quick
hear ya.
BDG disclaimer,
It's-
really quick, as I like, where's Achilles? I
It
need to
got-
hug my cat.
it's
Jesus.
I gotta represent myself, you know.
no, like it got real, right?
It did. It got real quick.
What are we gonna do with you?
Tree Razor is still like visibly shaking and scared, but isn't like death gripping Senia anymore. Just more like the trunk is sniffing and snooting and nuding and wrapping around you like elephants do. And what do, team?
Well, I still think perhaps Iruxi, at least their matriarch, knows enough magic to keep him under control. Maybe, if not nothing else, maybe we should visit them to gain more knowledge and gain an understanding of what we can do with him.
That sounds fair. I just know the first time we encountered him was because the Iruxi had let him just wander. So I think we need to ensure that that's not going to happen again.
Fair.
Okay. So then plan is we take Tree Razor back to from where you are to the Iruxi village.
Yeah, I guess well, we have to Ionia, we obviously were carrying the corpses of Rogue Squadron with us. We may need to kind of make a stop by the graveyard. Will you take care of that, and then I will set out to the Iruxi village to visit the matriarch.
That sounds like a good plan.
Dope. Okay. So that happens, and we will resolve the rest of that. Time is wibbly wobbly, both in terms of we had to talk about some stuff before this happened and in terms of Kingdom Turns. But that's what we're going to call this one. Thank y'all for watching. I guess I should unmute the boys so they can now shout at me, and we can... Here we go. Here we go. Kalira's going to be so angry. We're in danger. Oh,
I didn't know I was muted. I
How
thought
did
you were
you-
just ignoring me.
Oof. That's a whole mood.
I was screaming bloody. No, that was insane.
But in any case, thank y'all for watching. I didn't know what we would get done today, but it feels like we got more done than I thought we would, especially given the fact that I'm running on like 3 hours sleep and tired as fuck. But we'll be back at it next time with more Kingmaker.
Peace.
Bye.
I don't even have to say bye, guys. They just do it. It's so
I was
great.
waiting.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Say bye,
See ya.
Esther. There we go.